Hello, my name is Abby Greenwell, and I am a registered nurse case manager for a hospice agency in northwestern Wisconsin. Today, I will be discussing the fundamental principles of care coordination. I would like to start by talking a little bit about strategies for collaborating with patients and their families to achieve desired health outcomes. As a hospice nurse, my main concern is to facilitate a peaceful and pain-free death for my patients. Pain at end of life is a major fear for hospice patients and their families. However, this has the potential to be a controversial discussion to be had with family members. In my experience, very little is known to the general public about pain medications and their use in end of life. This means that I am responsible for educating patients and their families to achieve desired health outcomes. According to a peer-reviewed journal article titled "A Pilot to Improve the Pain Medication Education Experience in Hospice," found in the Journal of Hospice and Palliative Nursing, medication educational strategies may include elements of the teach-back method to assess and maximize understanding and comprehension by the family and caregivers of hospice patients. Another strategy is the Ask Me 3 program. This is where you encourage patients to ask the following 3 questions. What is their main problem? What do they need to do? And why is it important for them to do this? Now, with either method, it may be helpful to start by assessing the patient or family member's pre-existing knowledge of this medication. So I may start by asking the patient to tell me everything they know about the drug. What is it used for? How to take it? What are some side effects, etc. After compiling all of this information, I'm able to meet the patient where they're at. I can address any misconceptions they have about the medication, and then I can provide accurate and up-to-date information. At this time, I may also ask the patient or family member to explain or reteach back this information to me using their own words. I may also find it helpful to quiz them by asking questions like, how many milliliters of morphine will you administer in one dose? Or, what medication can you administer for terminal agitation, and what route will you administer this? Another fundamental principle in care coordination is change management and providing high-quality patient care to ensure that our patients' experiences are satisfactory. In order to provide high-quality patient care, it is important to understand the difference between patient experience and patient satisfaction. According to an article from November 2021 on sequencehealth.com titled "Understanding the Difference Between Patient Satisfaction versus Patient Experience," patient experience is a qualitative metric, whereas patient satisfaction is quantitative. So patient satisfaction measures the level of happiness of the patient. This may be measured via a survey where we ask the patient to rate their experience on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being very satisfied. So patient experience and satisfaction often go hand in hand, meaning the level of patient satisfaction is usually based on the overall experience. Now, our goal as nurses should be to improve the patient experience so that we can therefore improve the overall satisfaction of our patients. One important way to improve patient satisfaction is to facilitate patient-centered care. Many facilities are beginning to focus on improving the patient experience by transitioning from shift reports or handoffs at the nurse's station to doing this instead at the bedside. This allows the patient to be included in their own care experience, and it allows them to be an active participant in their care team. So not only does this improve the overall patient experience, but this is literally putting the focus on patient-centered care. This is an example of change management that directly affects the patient experience. Now, in order to make any permanent change in a healthcare setting, it may be helpful to keep Kurt Lewin's change theory in mind. The following information was found in a conceptual paper that was published in the Journal of Innovation and Knowledge and was written by students of the Glorious Sun School of Business and Management at Donghua University in Shanghai, China. Lewin's change theory is used to help understand the movement of staff from current practices to unknown or future practices. It is important to understand that there are two types of change, reactive and proactive. Reactive change takes place when an outside stimulus or force puts pressure on the organization to make a change. Proactive change takes place before outside stimulus comes into play or when the organization itself decides there needs to be a change. So why is this relevant? Well, the first step in Lewin's change theory is when the organization sees the need for change, whether that be due to an outside force, so reactive, or within the company, so proactive. This is called unfreezing. Once the organization sees the need for change, it can begin the actual work, including shifting the attitudes of the staff to begin making the change. This is known as the change step in Lewin's change theory. Finally, once the change has been implemented, the phase refreezing takes place. This is the final level of the change theory in which the organization begins using the new practices as their standard of care. By using the change theory to facilitate change within a healthcare organization, such as the example I used earlier regarding bedside reports, we can not only improve patient experience, but also improve patient satisfaction. The next topic I will be discussing today regarding care coordination is care plans. A vital and ethical step in creating a care plan is coordination among all disciplines involved in the patient's care. Since I primarily work with geriatric patients, I will use a nursing home as an example. So in the nursing home, we cannot capture the entirety of what each resident requires for his or her basic care needs without first discussing this with all other disciplines involved in this resident's care. For example, without speech therapy involved in a care plan, we may risk a resident choking or aspirating. And without speech therapy and dietary communication, the resident may receive a turkey sandwich for lunch when they are supposed to be on a pureed diet. While nursing plays a major role in developing care plans, it is so important and vital that we coordinate with all members of the care team to avoid med errors, dietary errors, poor patient outcomes, or even death if we aren't being vigilant. Now, my last topic of today includes the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, or HIPAA, as well as certain policy provisions that have taken place since the COVID-19 outbreak. The Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, or HIPAA, is a federal law passed by Congress in 1996. This protects sensitive patient information from disclosure without the patient's knowledge or consent. Now, healthcare facilities and the staff are mandated to evaluate practices in place and ensure that they are being compliant with HIPAA. This includes enhancing protections and safeguards to eliminate any inappropriate or accidental access to their residents' protected health information, or PHI. Computer and electronics are somewhat new in the realm of the nursing practice, so it is imperative that staff are monitoring and performing safe use of electronic health records. A widely used example that many facilities use for the protection of electronic PHI includes locking the computer screen when they are away from the workstation. Now, with the surge of COVID-19, healthcare facilities began searching for ways to limit direct contact with patients. Thus came about the era of telehealth and virtual care. This has made healthcare widely more accessible, but it may come with a cost. One large policy provision was made by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Office for Civil Rights, or OCR. They issued a notice that there would not be any penalties imposed against providers for non-compliance with HIPAA when providing virtual care or telehealth, meaning they would be allowed to use iPads and FaceTime or Zoom, which are historically not compliant with HIPAA. So this poses the risk of non-compliance with HIPAA. There are safeguards that providers and nurses can take to ensure the privacy of their patients or residents. However, with the uncertainty of electronics, providers must ensure that they are being diligent to maintain their patients' dignity, privacy, and respect. So as you can see, nurses play a vital role in care coordination. We have the responsibility to provide high quality, safe, and effective care for our patients. We facilitate change in order to improve our patients' experiences and boost their satisfaction. We coordinate with other members of a care team to create accurate, ethical, and effective care plans, and so much more. Thank you for being here today. I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you.